Hey guys, Rennie, I'm sorry for not recording in a while. I kind of got distracted from YouTube, but I'm back. And later in life, I'm going to post a update video, like what exactly I've been doing, what is happening, etc., and if I will post more, because I have a feeling once I post this, my views are already going to go down into the toilet. But I want to start recording again. But this is probably going to be like, again, the first video I post in a long time because anxiety is back. Anyway, so I want to talk about something that I have been wanting to talk about but didn't know which like platform to post this on. So I decided, hey, I haven't used my YouTube channel in how long? Might as well post it on YouTube. So I want to talk about the upcoming live action How to Train Your Dragon movie and what I think DreamWorks should do differently and what they should do, and my opinion on the matter. Because I know it's been a while since it was announced, and been a while since we found out who's playing Astrid and Hiccup, which is going to be a big plot point in this video, but let's go on and get started. Also keep in mind, again, I swear, so if I accidentally swear, then forgive me. And also, again, I'll post a future video saying why the hell I've been gone, what's going on, etc. And if you hear any background noise, I'm sorry. I live in a very noisy house with a beagle who barks at everything, cats, new black cats who play everywhere, which will be in an update video. My brother who yells at practically everything, my parents who try to calm him down, and a blind Shih Tzu who just tries her best to fight Thor, our beagle, etc. So unfortunately I don't have much control over the fact that I live in a noisy household with little to no quiet places. Anyway, let's go on and begin. So what I think about the live action How to Train Your Dragon movie. When it was announced, I honestly had a gut. I was honestly very excited, but it took me a while to realize because after it was revealed that a black woman was playing Astrid, the character who has always been associated with white badassery, yeah, she's being played by a black woman who I forgot her name because, again, I don't know many actors, but also something you should know. Excuse me, I have a sore throat, stuffy nose. Let's continue. So basically, when it came out that Astrid is being played by a black woman, that made me realize DreamWorks is in big trouble, and you'll soon hear why. DreamWorks, because when people created when they created How to Train Your Dragon, it became one of the biggest DreamWorks films ever, being up there with movies like Shrek and Kung Fu Panda. It's one of DreamWorks' top 3 biggest franchises that they have. And unfortunately, they had to end it after the 3rd movie, which made way to, I don't want to say it, Dragons: The 9 Realms. I am one of the people who think of 9 Realms as an embarrassment to How to Train Your Dragon and something that should be ostracized and left in a corner to rot. Originally, I thought it was good, until I realized, oh shit, it's just a cash grab. Now I don't watch it, and now it's just gonna forever remain on my continue watching list on Hulu, because I don't want to watch that shit now that they have practically ripped off a book series that I like. Anyway, so eventually news came out that that DreamWorks was working on a live-action How to Train Your Dragon movie. And as someone who has wanted anything How to Train Your Dragon related to come back, I was excited, but after it was revealed that Astrid is being played by a black woman, it opened my eyes to realize that DreamWorks is messing with the wrong franchise. They have chosen the wrong franchise to make into a live-action How to Train Your Dragon movie. I have been talking to myself for a long time about this, but DreamWorks should have picked another franchise to turn to a live-action movie. They should have chosen anything else but How to Train Your Dragon. Kung Fu Panda, Shrek, whatever. Don't choose How to Train Your Dragon or one of the big 3 DreamWorks films. They should have chosen something else besides How to Train Your Dragon. because How to Train Your Dragon is practically the original fan. It's the original big. It's like one of the biggest franchises DreamWorks has, and it keeps on getting bigger and bigger in popularity. So the fact that they chose How to Train Your Dragon, one of their top two biggest franchises they have, they are messing with the wrong thing. They should have made, in my opinion, Shrek a live action movie before How to Train Your Dragon. Anything else but How to Train Your Dragon and Kung Fu Panda would have been fine. Because the thing is, How to Train Your Dragon, it's a very fragile franchise to mess with. So, because the thing is, if the audience's biggest fear of the How to Train Your Dragon live action remake being terrible, like other past remakes, this could spell disaster for not only the How to Train Your Dragon original films, not only the books that it was based on, but for DreamWorks as a whole. They could go bankrupt because of this. They literally could lose any potential funds and potential money that they have or that they could get from future projects. If they choose to continue this, which I know they are, because it's too late to turn back now that it's in the public, now that they're pretty much ready to go, they need to figure out how the hell to make this live action httyd movie a success. And they need to do it fast. Because again, like I said earlier, How to Train Your Dragon is kind of, I don't know the best analogy to use, so I'm just going to use Jenga. It's kind of like Jenga. Mess with the wrong part, and the whole entire structure that it was built on could collapse, and it could, in that collapsing would not only affect, again, the original films and the books, but also to the freaking DreamWorks brand as a whole. They could lose a lot of money. They could start to lose a lot of money over the fact that they messed with the wrong franchise. Because I have been worried about this, and my worry only got worse when the news broke that Astrid Hofferson, Hiccup's girlfriend and future wife, is literally being played by a black woman. I'm not trying to sound racist, but I'm not alone in this. From what I've seen online, and from what I've seen in the How to Train Your Dragon fan, community, people aren't really that excited for Astrid being played by a black woman. And honestly, I agree. Everyone is making a valid point that Astrid should be played by a white woman. Because because everyone is saying, and I agree, that this inclusivity shit in live action movies is getting annoying. Recently it came out that Rapunzel is being played by a black woman. Ariel is played by a black woman in her live action movie. And this inclusivity shit, they're doing it so much that it's starting to get annoying, and it's going to kill any future money that they want to make. Because now, every time anyone sees any live action remake with literally white woman being played by a black woman, everyone has the gut feeling that that movie, that all that money that they make is going to go down in the toilet. It's happening with Disney, and I'm pretty sure that if they don't choose someone else to play Astrid for this live action movie, this could potentially make the live action remake of How to Train Your Dragon go down the toilet, which could kill any future projects that DreamWorks wants to make. But the thing is, if they make a good live action movie, live action How to Train Your Dragon movie, then I'll take back everything I say. I'll delete this video because, again, this franchise is a glass cannon of sorts. Messing with it? Yeah. You don't want to mess with this thing because the risk to win scenario, it's not very high. There's barely any chance that this is going to go well if they continue to have Astrid being played by a black woman. Hell, we hated on Sonic's original design for his movie, and now that they changed the design, we love the Sonic movies. And I get it. Sonic and How to Train Your Dragon are very different things. In fact, I don't think anyone has decided to combine them or use them in the same sentence. But let's just say that if we make our voices heard, then DreamWorks could potentially recast Astrid as a white woman who fits the bill. Because we are getting sick and tired of this inclusivity shit in movies and live action remakes right now. Rapunzel is originally a really good white character, but now that she's being played by a black woman, we're all very pissed. Which, keep in mind, ever since Disney started making live action movies, they have ruined the live action animated movie term. They have ruined that. And now everyone is so worried about the How to Train Your Dragon live remake, and it's very justified. I understand. I am very worried. How to Train Your Dragon pretty much molded me to the weirdo I am today, and I still appreciate everything that How to Train Your Dragon did for me. I am literally a super fan who just doesn't know how to show it. But let's just say that now that they're messing with the wrong franchise, they need to figure out a quick and easy solution that will make this risk all the more worth it. Because, fun fact, there were so many... When Dean DeBlow originally made the animated How to Train Your Dragon movies, during the moment, they had, like, some of the biggest scenes in those movies were risks that Dean DeBlow didn't know if he wanted to take. Like, for example, in the scene of the first movie where Hiccup loses his leg, they didn't know if that scene would go well. They didn't know because originally they wanted Hiccup to wake up alone. And in fact, they were about ready to go with this until another director, I think like the director of Jurassic World of sorts or something, and he was the one who decided to have Toothless in the scene to make that scene all the more lively, and to make sure that Hiccup and Toothless's relationship is not something akin to a cowboy and horse relationship, showing that they are best friends. And later that scene became a very big staple in the first movie. And another risk they took was Valka's origin story. Another risk they took was Stoic's death. Originally, they wanted Gobber to die. Whenever it was revealed that whenever they decided for Stoic to die, everyone in the room was so scared. Everyone in the Dean DeBlow was so scared that this scene would not be taken kindly to the audience, that they were so close to scrapping the entire second movie as a whole and starting anew. But eventually this scene became one of the most emotional things, and this risk that they made paid off big time. So all the How to Train Your Dragon movies have at least one giant gamble that they have, and it managed to pay big time in their favor. So what did they do? So how did they know that these risks were worth it? They had something called test screenings. If you don't know what a test screening is, it's where the directors gather a bunch of random people from outside and show them a scene that they don't know whether it's going to go well or go bad, and test it with them. And then once the audience sees it, the directors are able to look at their reaction and see how they responded and how well the scene and if this scene is so well that it should be put in the movie. That's what they did. They had test screenings, which is what I think they should do for the live action movie. I think they should totally do this for the live action movie, because if they don't, then they could potentially lose a lot of money, and this could blow up big time in their face. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on this whole thing. But what do you guys think? Do you think that this is something? Do you think this is something I need to vent about, or do you think I'm actually right about this? Because it is a big opinion of mine that I don't know if DreamWorks is ever going to listen to a fat woman who's laying in bed in her PJs with a Warrior Cats poster in the background. Anyway, have a good day and